Hello YouTube, it's Zoe from Hunt's Urban Prepsteaders and it is allotment vlog. Welcome to allotment vlog number 11, and I am reporting from the shed again because I keep trying to film outside and the sun is a nightmare at the moment, and it's quite well, early evening, 5-6 o'clock on Friday the 6th of August. I can't believe we're in another month. I can't believe we're already in August. What happened to the time? I really think it's just kind of run away with us. We'll be coming into prepping for winter soon. Anyway, I digress. Welcome to my allotment vlog number 11, and today I'm going to talk about everything squash, and one of my absolute favourites. Such a satisfying plant to grow. It just grows, takes over absolutely everywhere, doesn't care about anything else. It doesn't matter how much you try and train it, it will go wherever it wanted. Now, my favourite to squash is, it's a bonbon squash. Well, I think that's what it's called, and I'll tell you why. It's because I used to get a like an organic veg box when I very first started to try and like eat healthier, and I was going on to trying to eat everything organic. I used to get a delivery from an organic veg box, and I used to experiment with stuff. It's how I discovered kohlrabi, which is my absolute favourite, as you know. I'm always going on about it. But also, oh, just kicked the tripod. Also, I used to order like some squash and stuff because I like to try new things. So I ordered what they said was a bonbon squash and a spaghetti squash, and I love them both. Both much better options, like instead of pasta with the spaghetti squash or noodles and other stuff. Whoa, I think I'm having a storm coming in. Oh my goodness, definitely going to have to tie everything down tonight, in a minute maybe. And anyway, completely distracted by a gust of wind that nearly took, oh, I think the archer's going to go. Anyway, oh dear, allotment life, hashtag allotment life. Anyway, so I brought these squash and I absolutely love them, and I decided to save the seeds because they were organic, and I thought I'll grow them myself. So last year, when I didn't have an allotment and I was growing them in the garden, I grew 3 plants of each, and they literally took over the whole back of my garden. But my garden's really secluded. I've got like a big tree that goes over, and walls and everything, and slugs like you wouldn't believe. And I literally got 2 fruit. I got 1 fruit of each of them out of 3 plants of each. So I decided to save the seeds and plant them this year. So again, you know, seeds from before, and the other seeds, I don't know what happened to them. I think my husband threw them away. He said, oh, I think they've gone mouldy. And so I kept the seeds and I planted them this year, and I had a massive awakening when their fruit started to grow on them, because I had no idea about a thing called cross-pollination. And what cross-pollination is, it's when a bee goes from like one plant into the other plant and pollinates it. It has to be the same species, and you get the genetic material from one plant going into the other plant. And if you save the seeds from that plant, you end up with like the characteristics of both plants inside of that new plant, and you end up pretty much with a whole new species, not a species, a new variant or something. That's a fine word at the moment, isn't it? And so you end up with an entirely new one. Now, it's quite often done on purpose with like things like tomatoes to make like blight resistant ones, and you know, much more hardier vegetables, and you know, to combine flavours, and quite often by accident because of the bees. Because bees just do it, especially in places like allotments and stuff. And if you're going to be selling on seeds, it's quite a good a handy thing to know, or you're going to do seed swaps, because quite often the person can get, you give them a seed thinking you're giving them a pumpkin seed, and they're going to end up with something else, which is basically what's happened to me. My plants started to grow, and my bonbon squash, which I'm going to show you, is absolutely fine. These are absolutely beautiful. I love them, and obviously I didn't get cross-pollinated with the seeds on these, and I'm getting hundreds of them. This is about my 5th one. So, and I make like amazing soups out of them with courgettes, and I just absolutely love them, and turmeric. And oh, to the people that have asked and said, will you make some videos of the stuff you make, I am planning to make a video, completely digressing here, but I have a tiny kitchen, and I've just invested in a new tripod which is much higher. This one I'm using now only goes to about 3 feet, so it's quite low, which is why I have to do the filming sitting down, and I wanted something that I could do standing up and get a good angle of in my kitchen, or can stand over the oven, because it's all very small. I don't have like a nice country kitchen, and that's the whole point of me doing this, is that it's so people can know that you can do it from an urban environment. But filming it from an urban environment is not so easy, so it's work in progress, so watch this space. Something I'll probably do a lot more of during the winter when I'm not doing so much allotment stuff. So anyway, back to the squash. So I ended up, so my bonbon squash, which, look at this beauty, it's just beautiful. I've just picked it today, and I've got about 4 more on the plant. They're just absolutely lovely. They're a bit like a pumpkin, and but they're like a sort of darker and not as sweet, sort of more spicier taste to them. Lovely thick texture. I just love using them in the soups and stuff anyway. Or you can cut them, because you can actually eat the skin on them, but I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, started to look at my spaghetti squash, which is one of the other reasons I want to grow that, is because I don't eat things like pasta and that. It makes lovely, like, sort of noodle, scrape it off, lovely like noodles, and you can have it with like a spaghetti sauce or something. So if I'm making spaghetti for the family, I like to use those, and they're not that easy to buy in the supermarket unless you're going to actually go and order them from somewhere like a specialist place. In the UK, I think probably in America or somewhere, or maybe if you're in like a big city where you can go to these big veg markets and stuff, but where I live, it's never going to happen. Waitrose is about as far as we get to have having nice stuff, and they don't do them in Waitrose. So anyway, if you know what a spaghetti squash looks like, it looks like a sort of fatter version of like a yellow courgette. I've actually got one growing similar, so you'll see what happened out there, so I'll show you. But anyway, so I got the seeds and I put them in, and they started to grow, and they grew beautifully, and they've taken over absolutely everything, the same as the bonbon squash. But this is what I've ended up with. It looks more like a bonbon squash. It's got the green from the bonbon, but the yellow from the spaghetti squash. Now, one plant, these are the same seeds from the same one spaghetti squash last year. One plant is growing these, but the other plant is growing what looks like spaghetti squash with just a little hint of green on them. Who knows? I've actually got one at home which I need to try and get in the oven and see what happened, because sometimes they don't turn out that nice, and sometimes they turn out amazing, the crossovers. So that's something interesting. Something else to know is it's pretty much all right. I did read on, where was it I read on it? I think it was on Facebook, one of the Facebook groups. Somebody saying they got worried because they had cross-pollinated courgettes, and they were worried that the courgettes would have something wrong with them and blah blah blah. But I've done my research, and you're absolutely fine. Cross-pollination is absolutely fine with nearly everything. You'll either end up with something that doesn't taste that nice, or you'll end up with something amazing, or you'll just end up with something interesting, except for with corn. And for some reason with corn, the cross-pollination happens on the actual, maybe it's because it's the seed. Something's fallen, my bunting's fallen down, great. Because it's the seed, but you can actually, if you get the cross-pollination of the corn, then the corn can turn out really bitter. It's not very nice. So anyway, I'm going to talk about now the nutrients in squash. So squash are actually, this one comes from, I think, I'm not sure if I've already said it, apparently it's I've got it written down, cabocha family, and the spaghetti squash must be from that family as well. You get like the Turk turban, which look very similar. They're orange, they're like this but orange. These are all like Japanese, they're actually Japanese squash, and they are really nice. You can steam them, a lot of people like to either like cut them and steam them. You can eat the skin, you can eat every part of them. You can eat the seeds are highly nutritious, and you can eat the skin if you want, but the skin can tend to be bitter. What a lot of people do, they like to cut it like in shapes, roast it. It's really nice roasted, and then just eat it off like you would eat like a melon, but eat it off the skin and then leave the skin after, like roasted. And it's you get with squash, you get two kinds of squash. You can get what they call the summer squash or the winter squash, and it's actually winter squash, even though I'm getting hundreds of them in the summer. And the summer squash are actually like your courgettes, which are the soft skin. You eat them, and you eat them, you let them grow small, and you eat them while their skin is soft, and you eat the whole thing. And the winter squash are more, and these will last. The thing about I love about squash is you keep them in a nice cool place, they can literally sit on your shelf for the whole of the winter, and they store themselves. It's like they're inside their own little thing. So what's in them? They're full of beta carotene, the good old beta carotene that's in carrots. Great for your eyes, great for rebuilding your cells. Vitamin C, so they're high in antioxidant. Vitamin B6, so what does vitamin B6 do? Forgotten that. Vitamin V6, so that's vitamin V6, it repairs your cells. And it's really good for your mental health. They've got magnesium in them, calcium in them, iron in them, and the carbs in them. One the other reason I know they vary. Now this type are quite low, but when you get up to like the butternut squash and pumpkins, which are a bit sweeter, well the butternut squash is well sweet. So my video just stopped, so I'm going to have to start it again. So you're talking about, so yes, you're talking about 12 carbs for butternut squash and pumpkin, and then these go down to about 5 carbs per 100 grams. So they're really one of the reasons why I like them as well, because I don't have like a really high carb diet, which I'm sure you know. Plus you find things are much more nutritious. And that's about it today. I'm going to show you a couple of things I've got off. Look, can't grow. It's really weird this year. Like, oh God, it's been such a learning curve. And I'm going to do like a video at the end of this season. We have been sitting down and talking about it, and we have learned so many mistakes this year. We have made so many mistakes, and we've learned so many lessons, but we're going to completely pretty much redo the whole allotment, take everything up and just start again and do so many. We're already planning it out, and me and the husband are going to sit together and do a video where we just reflect and talk about all the mistakes we make. But the weird thing is about this year is that I'm just like, I can't grow the things that I grew really well the year before in my garden, and stuff that maybe I started growing for that I was really good at growing, like broccoli. I had so much success in pots last year, and this year it just hasn't really grown. And beetroot is another thing. Every time I put beetroot in, which is usually really easy, everyone of course has got beetroots like the size of your fist, and I've got, this is literally my beetroot. So, you know, the highs and lows of gardening, and that's really it. But I have got, finally, runner beans. Look at these beauties. Loads of runner beans coming off, and nobody in my house eats them, but my mum loves them. So I'll take some more over to my mum, and I think next door love them. So next door are going to get a load of runner beans, fresh runner beans off the thing, and they're beautiful. They smell wonderful. So there you go. So thank you for watching. I'm going to flip the thing round like I do, see you on the other side, and just show you the other spaghetti squash that's growing from the same seeds but a different plant that I'm growing, which is insane. And then I'm also going to show you my Belotti bean arch, which is looking wonderful in if I don't get blown away. And I'm going to quickly show you the artichoke, which I never got to eat because I think our plant's really old. There was just so much choke inside the artichokes when I tried to cook them. There seemed to be more choke than anything else, and they didn't seem to, don't know what's wrong with the plant, but bees absolutely love it when you let it go to flower, and it looks beautiful. So I'm going to show you that. So see you on the other side. Okay, hello, this is attempt number 4 because for some reason my phone keeps turning itself off, and I'm not quite sure what's going on then. But here we are at the spaghetti squash and courgette bay, and got one little pumpkin in the corner there. And if you have a look, here is, and this one looks just like a spaghetti squash. That is what a spaghetti squash looks like. But that's from exactly the same seeds as these ones, which look like a strange green bonbon squash. So that is my adventure into cross-pollination. And here is where the bonbon squash is. It's all going through here. There's a massive one. There's actually one growing up here, if you can see. Looks lovely. And I've got a pumpkin. My one pumpkin down here is already going orange. I think it's a little bit early. But anyway, he's hiding down there. And if we go over here, here is my corn. I'm not going to do a full tour today, but this is going to so close to being ready. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. And this is here. Apparently when this has gone all, this has gone all brown, this will be ready. I'm going to have the guts to take one off and test it, but I've just had somebody I follow on Instagram do the same, and she put hers in exactly the same time as me, and it wasn't quite ready. So I'm going to leave it for another week. And what you have is I've got two on most of these. So this one here I'll take first, and then you leave the next one and it will come up and then mature itself. So that's really exciting. Got beans. Oh look, it's another one more really long bean to go in the bag. They're everywhere. They're so hard to find. But there's another one there. Not quite ready, that one. And I'm just going to take you over to here is the artichoke. So as you can see, look, there's a catching in there. So the bees love it. Look at this little bee in there. What a treat. Thanks, little bee. And we've got, just over there in the back, you can see that plot there, she's got bees. So I'm leaving them on here. As I said, I think this plant is just really old. If you can see how flat these are, they're not got that up that artichokes have, and all this bit in the middle was choke when we tried to cook them. And there just wasn't any artichoke, it was just choke. But look at that, what a treat. Little bee. And they do love them, and they look absolutely beautiful like this anyway, so we get pleasure out of them. Somebody will get pleasure out of them. And there we go. So I'm just going to take you over to the borlotti beans, which is now completely taken over the arch in this storm that's coming. Just locked up the poly house. And they're looking wonderful down the bottom, these bottom ones. Look how red and wonderful they are. And the beans, I can feel the beans in them growing. This one's probably nearly ready. I might pick a couple next week and pop them open just to see. Tons of them. I've never had them before. And it'll be naughty for me to actually have them because they're quite high carb, but stuff it, might treat myself. And then just a little view of my daughter's sunflowers in the background. Quick pan of the plot. It's looking really good. I've just put some peas in there, a little pea space under some nets. I'm not sure how we'll do them with them. I've left them far too long in the greenhouse. And there you go. Right, everybody, I'm in the middle of some kind of storm coming my way, and so please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching again, and catch you next week. Bye.